Kelly Eden is a predominant alternative model. From gracing the cover of over 17 magazines to starring in music videos, she's been a muse for fashion designers all over the world. At 5'4", she's not the traditional model, but is making her living as one nonetheless. How does she do it? Well, breaking the mold of the modeling industry takes strength, and Kelly definitely has it. Let's learn from Kelly Eden herself about starting off in the alternative modeling industry.
An alt model is basically just a model who does not conform to the mainstream ideals of beauty. Hi, my name is Kelly Eden. I'm 25 years old. I am a full-time alternative model and an artist. I live in Hollywood. I got started when I was about 18 years old. I was still in college, and I was also working part-time at a tattoo shop. I was apprenticing to be a tattoo artist. So at the time, we actually had a photographer come into our shop because we needed photos to be taken, portraits for our online web store. So when the photographer came in, he ended up spending about like 5 minutes with each artist taking a photo, and then he ended up spending 2 hours with me, so it kind of turned into a full-blown photo shoot, you know, the very first one that I ever did. So I kind of found that I had just a natural talent for it, a passion, and it just kind of came natural to me. By the end of the shoot, he kind of was like looking through his photos, and he thought, he looked at me and he said, "Have you ever thought about like actually doing this like for real? Like, do you want to, you know, be an alt model?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, of course I do. Like, who wouldn't want to do this?" And I guess I didn't start earlier just because I never thought it was really possible. You know, like I was living in Denver. You know, there's no industry for alternative modeling in Denver, not that I even knew of. So I guess once I knew that it was possible, I just knew the sky was the limit and I didn't want to stop at anything. So from there, I ended up just getting different opinions and advice from other people that were modeling in the industry who also lived in Denver. So I was asking different photographers, some models, and I also started researching a little bit of different alternative models that were, you know, all over the US and just asking advice. A lot of them were pretty short, but the best advice that I got was to join a website called modelmayhem.com. Everybody's going to know about this. I'm sure everybody is going to be talking about this when they're talking about starting modeling. It was the only resource that we had that we could communicate with everybody who's in the industry, and that goes as far as photographers, makeup artists, hairstylists, models, designers, wardrobe artists, everything like that. So once I was on there, it just kind of took off from there. So what I actually ended up doing was I was still working in the tattoo shop, and it was so slow that all I did was sit on the computer and I would just talk to people. And I would find different people that I admired, or if I liked their work, I would just send them a message and say, "Hey, I'm new, do you want to work with me?" Most of the time they would get back to me and they would say yeah. From there, more people that I found obviously weren't in Denver. Most of them were in LA. So I ended up flying out a lot to do shoots in LA. So I will say that traveling a little bit, if you're not in LA, that's really gonna help because most of the talent is gonna be in LA. An alt model is basically just a model who does not conform to the mainstream ideals of beauty. So that can go as far as anything. Basically what people first think about when they think alternative model is crazy pink hair or tattoos, but that's not always the case. Actually, some of the most famous alternative models don't have a single tattoo on them and they just have blonde hair. The mainstream ideals of beauty in the mainstream world is, you know, you're 5'9" to 6 foot, you're stick skinny, and you can fit in a size 0. That's not really the case in alternative modeling. In fact, it doesn't even really help if you are that type. It's really just the artistic girl, the girl who just dares to do something different, who can express herself through the camera and tell a story. Whether it's really flexible poses, or if it's through her colors and her tattoos and her hair and her wardrobe, there's something more artistic, and it's a lot more personal than it is in the mainstream world, where they're more commercial and they're representing another company and they fit whatever image that that company wants. That's kind of the beauty about being an alternative model, is you can be anything you want. You can shape yourself in any shape or form you want. You can wear what you want. You can do your hair how you want. So there's this artistic freedom, and it's almost really liberating because you're expressing yourself and you're just showing exactly who you are through the camera, and you get a lot of feedback from the people who are seeing that. So body image time. I get a lot of questions on my body image and if there's an extreme pressure as a model to be thin, or if I ever get criticized for having curves. The answer is yes, but I think that this is something that women naturally get. We're always body aware and we're always wanting to be thinner or more curvy,